Recently, in a debate with a friend, I made the comparison between Israel and trans women. At first it wasn't that deep, but as I began to think about it, the similarities came bursting out like mogwais off of another wet mogwai. Initially, I had simply brought up Palestine to talk about how a left-wing cause can be interpreted as a right-wing cause if people accept the framing of the dominant classes. So in the case of Palestine, a lot of bourgeois liberals just see two oppressed groups that need to quote-unquote learn to get along. But just as those arguments are apologetics for Israel when applied to geopolitics, they are apologetics for men when applied to gender identity. The next similarity is the obsession of both trans women and Israel with the right to exist. Just as right to work laws are actually an attack on people's ability to work, the obsession with the right to exist is merely a projection of these groups' own attempts to erase other people. Zionists and gender theists both assume an inherent good in the existence of a reactionary concept, the nation-state and gender identity, respectively. They attempt to rally the left around these causes by falsely implying that, for example, a person saying that Israel shouldn't exist is identical to saying kill all Jews, or alternatively, that declaring gender identity to be an unfounded reactionary concept is the same thing as saying trans people are bad and don't exist. The same way Zionists try to argue that Palestinians aren't a real people, gender theists accomplish the same thing by co-opting, distorting, and misrepresenting the experiences of intersex people to falsely claim that sex is a spectrum. When colonizing Palestine, the Zionists had a slogan, "A land with no people for a people with no land." Likewise, in order to justify the genocidal colonization of so-called Australia, the British used a similar phrase, terra nullius, meaning land that is legally deemed to be unoccupied or uninhabited. Whether it is Zionists, the British Empire, or patriarchal gender theism, the basic defense is, we had to take this, you weren't doing anything with it. At least nothing like the totally cool shit that we're gonna do. Another similarity is that from the outside, both groups can appear obsessed, like people like, oh, you know, why do they care so much about that holy land? Why do you care so much about gender? Yeah, so it has those types of similarities. But at this point, I just wanted to open it up to general comments. So if anyone can think of other ways in which there are similarities, I'd love to hear them. Also, if you are a quote-unquote gender theist and you want to debate, by all means, I will respond to those comments. And so my point is, I'm inviting people to debate in a kind of one-on-one way, and I will regulate the comments in such a way that it's you and I having a conversation, not you versus everybody that's subscribed to me, because I do genuinely want to have a dialogue.
If you want to talk about the deep discomfort of the arts, dive in. So,